Okay guys, here's another video I want you to take a look at, giving you a good reminder of how log functions work. So we use the word log here, by the way, short for logarithm function, okay? And they're inverse of power functions, as you'll find out through your own experience, okay? But for now, I want you to learn how to work with it, all right? Because that's required in IM3. So here we go. The first thing I wanted to remind you of, guys, is exponent rules. Remember, guys, whenever I multiply with exponents, don't I take the 2 and the 7 in this case? So notice I have x squared times x to the 7, and that's x to the 9. What I really did was I added here, right? So, long story short, when multiplying with exponents, we add the exponents, right? When we divide with exponents, and you guys should know fractions mean divide. So when I have a y to the 8 divided by a y to the 3, we're going to minus these. We're going to subtract them, right? And that's why we get y5. So when we divide with exponents, we subtract the exponents, right? And finally, there's a third rule you should be familiar with. Notice I have a 4 power on a 3 power, right? And I refer to this as power on power. I'm sure there's a better way to say it, but long story short, does everyone agree if I have w to the 3rd to the 4th power, it's really w12 because I'm going to do 4 times 3. So long story short, whenever you got a power on a power, it actually becomes a multiply, right? And hopefully you understand how these exponent rules work, because with log rules, guys, they use basically the same rules because logs are inverses of exponents, okay? And so let's get right to the work so you can see exactly what I mean. So take a look at this one right here. I just randomly picked some, by the way, guys, and I'll just do as many as I can without making the video too long. But anyways, notice I have a x6 times a y3, right? This, by the way, is natural log. It's a log function. So just know it's ln is natural log. But I know I can now write this as natural log of x to the 6 plus natural log of y to the 3. Why? Because a times, that's what I have right there, came from, or when we times, we actually add, do we not, with exponents. So that's the logic. Now, we're not quite done yet. Notice how we have a 6 power here. And what did we learn when we reviewed exponent rules is with powers, we can make that into multiply. So what I can do is bring it out in front, and I have 6 natural log x instead. I'm going to do the same thing with this 3 power here. I can bring it in front. So I have a plus 3 natural log of y. Let me clean that up a little bit. And that's how it works. So when we're multiplying, it becomes add. When it's a power, it becomes a multiply. Let's try it again. Look at this number 4 right here. Now this one's a log base 7. So don't let that 7 there scare you. Our problem's basically going to be log 7, okay, base 7. Now, notice I have a parentheses right here, guys, and a 3 power on it. So what did we learn about powers? Can't I, in other words, bring that 3 in front and make it a multiply? See how I did that, guys? So what I really have is 3 log base 7 of x cubed over y. See how it's getting a little bit nicer now, guys? Now what? Well, we have a divide right here, right? And with exponents, hopefully you understand divide means subtract. So what we now have is 3 log base 7 of x cubed minus, because that's what that divide's going to do for us, 3 log base 7 of y. Make sure you keep the 3 and the log 7 together. Basically, it's distributive property, right? Now what? Well, notice the 3 power right here. Couldn't I bring that in front and make it a multiply? Right? And that's what I'm going to do. Over here, it's already just a regular y, so that part is simplified or done. So our final perfect answer is going to be 9, because 3 times 3 is 9, log base 7 of x minus 3 log base 7 of y. Pause the video if you need to. Okay. All right, so guys, why don't you pause the video and give this one a try. All right, let's see how you did. Did you notice I had this 2 power on the parentheses? Let's bring it in front, right? 2 log base 3 of u cubed over v. Now, you should have noticed I have a divide right here, right? So I'm going to make that into a subtraction. So I have 2 log base 3 of u cubed minus 2 log base 3 of v. And if you look at the answer, the only thing else that needs to be simplified is this 3 can go right in front as a multiply. So our final result is 3 times 2, 6 log base 3 of u minus 2 log base 3 of v. And that is how you do logs, guys. I think let's do one more just to make sure. Okay. Now this one may stump you, so let me just get straight to the point. Do you guys still remember what a radical is as a power? That is a cube root right there. So the first thing we better do, guys, is rewrite it. It's a natural log, right? Instead of cube root, we're going to say u times v times w to the 1/3 power. Did you guys remember a cube root is a 1/3 power? Now that we have it written here as a power, we should know, hey, with powers, I can bring it in front and make it a multiply, right? So I have 1/3 natural log of u times v times w. Now, hopefully we also realize that these multiplies right here actually can be pluses. So our final step is basically 1/3 natural log of u plus, that's what that right there became, 1/3 natural log of v plus 1/3 natural log of w. The only other thing I can do with this one, guys, is since they all are 1/3, I could factor out a 1/3, right? And say 1/3 parentheses natural log u plus natural log v plus natural log w. The bottom line is you need to talk to your teacher. Some teacher prefers certain formats. Each of these guys is exactly the same answer. One has distributive property, the other one has it factored. Okay? But guys, hopefully this is enough practice and review already to get you familiar with how log rules work. I don't want the video to go too long. It's already long enough. But hopefully, if you have any questions, please ask in class. I would love to do some more log properties with you. That's one thing that's going to give you that little extra advantage next year, guys, when you're in your math class, okay? Know your log properties. I'll see you in class.